Hi and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Now, we are flooded with wacky weight loss advice every day, and it's really hard to know what is fact from fiction. There's fad after fad after fad, quick fixes galore, and a million ways to try to melt stubborn belly fat, it seems. Just drink celery juice. But then what? None of these diet methods, quick fixes, or fads are sustainable. And you know what? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Weight loss can be daunting and really hard sometimes. There's that initial loss and motivation push, but then you can hit a plateau or a big work deadline comes into the mix, or the kids get sick and training goes out the window, and you find yourself sitting in the all or nothing attitude where you're either on a diet or you're off a diet completely. It's tough to keep going and to hit your goals. But the good news is weight loss is scientific. There are a number of things you can do to help yourself safely and sustainably lose fat. Of all the misguided weight loss advice out there to be avoided, there's also a lot of legitimate, research-backed and expert-approved suggestions for people who are in the right mindset and have weight loss as a personal goal. Today, I can't wait to speak to Libby Babet, founder of the Upbeat Gym in Bondi, mum of two, fellow Biggest Loser trainer and TXO trainer, about what actually works for weight loss. Libby, thank you so much for joining me on Bounce Forward. I love your work. Yes, you are just so fantastic. And I feel like we have so much in common. You know,
Absolutely.
Both have been Biggest Loser trainers. We both have work as online trainers. You're a TXO trainer and also you own your gym, and we've been in the fitness industry forever. So today I want to talk weight loss, and let's get started with the science. How does weight loss work?
Yeah, look, there's a basic way it works, but to be honest, it's very different depending on the person, your fitness and health history, your stage of life. So many different things pour into it. At a very basic level though, and this is why it often gets simplified when there is a bigger picture, is it kind of is energy in, energy out. So you eat food and some of it is stored, some of it your body it's free to use in your blood sugars, and it's stored as either, those sugars get stored for use in your muscles or as glycogen in your liver, or, for use, for ready use. So your body uses what's readily available first. So when you eat something, there will be some sugars in your blood. Then it will kind of go into the stored stuff. So it will go into what's been stored in your muscles and the sugar that's been converted into glycogen in your liver. And then it will start burning fatty acids. And that's when you kind of start to burn through fat. So at the very basics of kind of energy use, that is what I guess fat loss, weight loss is. And you can affect that by shifting what you eat, or by increasing the energy you're putting out, or by improving your muscle quality to burn through some of that energy and use it more effectively. I hope that kind of summarizes it. And
it's not easy to explain, but it's basically creating that deficit. That's what you're saying, that energy in, energy out, having a consistent deficit. And I think a lot of people come to me and say, I'm not losing weight. And it's like, well, you haven't got that deficit. You really have to know what's coming in and what your output is. Yeah,
and I think that there was a word in there that you said that is probably the biggest issue that stops people from having effective continual body composition changes, weight loss, fat loss, whatever you want to call it, which is the word consistency. And I think people often think that, and maybe thanks to this industry we're in, like fat loss is an 8-week thing or a 12-week thing or a 4-week thing, and that they should see these results, and once they've made the change then it will just magically stay like that forever and they can go back to doing what they were doing. But the word consistency is really important, and it's important that everyone looks at not just weight loss but body composition changes, health, all that kind of stuff as actually something that is created over months and years and decades of effort actually. It's not something that is a short-term project. Part of it can be, but there are so many phases to it, parts to it. Our bodies are adapting and changing all the time, and it's really important that we continue to direct it in the way that we want to go, whether that's building muscle, whether that's weight and fat loss, whether that's a maintenance or a health protocol. It's something that you have to look at as months and years and decades of effort, and people don't love that, but it's really about consistency over a lifetime. And I do mean a lifetime. It doesn't even stop when you're 70, 80, 90. It is a lifetime. So yeah,
it is a huge commitment, isn't it? So what kind of advice would you give someone who wants to lose a dramatic amount of weight? They're starting out.
Look, to be honest, if it's a dramatic amount of weight, so if someone has, never really done the things to put their body into good shape and they are in a position where they've got a lot of weight to lose, that's actually the point where it's actually easiest to see weight loss, which is a great thing for people that are listening and might be feeling a bit demotivated. You can literally shift any of the needles and it's pretty easy to have some immediate wins. And this is why when you look at shows like The Biggest Loser or what I did, The Biggest Loser Transformed, those first few weeks where these people are making an effort for the first time to either exercise for the first time or eat better for the first time, or ideally a combination of the two, in those first few weeks that they're kind of weighing in, so to speak, there are huge needle shifts on the scale. There's huge differences in body composition because their body is, for the first time, seeing this energy deficit. Like they're used to having a huge amount of energy in and not a lot of energy out. And when you shift the needle on either of those things, like you start the body moving or you start kind of reducing portions, eating healthier foods, including more protein, more fiber, all that kind of stuff, less ultra processed food. Any of those things are going to shift the needle dramatically and you're going to see some initial wins. And that's the great news. For me, I look at the body and the brain. And there are two things you can do for the body and the brain when you're kind of wanting to lose weight, and particularly if it's your first time. For the body, number one, and this might not be popular opinion, I like to replenish it, re-nourish it. And I think this is something that people lose. Like a lot of the times people go straight to, I think level 10 on the difficulty ladder, which is they go, great, I'm going to count calories or I'm going to go to the gym every day. They go straight to level 10. And level 1 is usually like, you've usually been eating a lot of processed or a lot of high energy, low nutrient foods for such a long time that your body is actually not as nourished as it needs to be to make you feel good while you're making this change. So you either go to extreme calorie deficit and you're starving, or you go to extreme exercise and you're both starving and sore. For me, step one is to replenish and re-nourish the body. So I like to start with education, get people eating more good foods, not focusing on what we're taking out, not focusing on cutting down, but focusing on each meal, asking how I can make this healthier. We're adding in, veggies and salads and more protein and good stuff that's going to start to make you feel good and re-nourish your body. It's going to be satiating. So foods that fill you up, your eggs and your fish and your veggies and your beans and legumes, all the stuff that's going to make you feel satisfied. And it's not about cutting out your favorite foods at this point. It's about nourishing. So that's step one on body, and then kind of retraining. So starting to get your body used to movement again. And that starts, if you're at the very beginning, with walking, which is just number one, easy, simple way to start getting your body moving. And depending what that person can fit in, it might be big walks, it might be little walks, doesn't matter. And when we go and get more complicated from there. So that's for your body, and for your mind, again, there's those two steps. Let's start again with basically the two things. So nourishing, re-nourishing and replenishing by getting good sleep. Working with the circadian rhythm. So actually going to bed at a decent time, getting a good sleep, and actually then kind of training that brain with better habits. So there's lots of good stuff we can do there. You start to have to tell your body how excited you are to eat good food, how much this apple is going to energize you, how much you're going to love going for that walk, but also starting to kind of retrain your brain by doing things like habit stacking. For example, if it's really hard, people really hate exercise, I'll often say stack it with a habit that you already do that you love. For example, people love having a shower every morning, so let's do 20 squats and 20 push-ups before every shower. People love to make a cup of tea or coffee at home. Let's do some lunges while we're doing that, or a nice stretch if we're already ready while we're waiting for that. So starting to habit stack, or if you're going to a gym, go past your favorite coffee shop, stack it with I can't wait to get that coffee and go for my my walk or go to the gym, whatever it might be. So just really two things for body and mind. Number one is kind of replenish it. So, replenish your body with good food, you replenish your mind with good rest. And number two is retrain it. So for the body, start to move, some walking, a bit of muscle training, and for the mind, start to look at setting those good habits or habit stacking with things you're already doing, to put some good habits in with some of the ones that are already, hard in your lifestyle.
Amazing advice. Amazing. And so a lot of people come to us for weight loss advice often.
Yes.
And they really want to know, what is your number one weight loss tip? What would you say? It's a hard one, isn't it?
It's honestly, it's hard and it's not hard. My number one weight loss tip is for people who are just starting out is to consistently do one good thing for in the food stakes and in the body stakes. So that might be a 10-minute walk at lunchtime, but do it every single day. It's creating that consistency and making it manageable, and then you'll choose something in food. So it may well be that you make sure that you have some protein with your breakfast, or it may be that you give yourself a 12-hour or 10 to 12-hour window to begin with where you're not eating so your body can rest. So for example, if you have dinner at, 8 p.m, you might wait till 8 a.m. to have some food again. So choose one thing that you can do, whether it's, eat another serve of veggies a day, include some protein in every meal, and choose one good thing in the movement stakes, whether it's a little 10-minute weights program at home or it's a 10-minute walk at lunch. And then we can start to build from there, because step one is about the habits. It's actually not about the trick or the tip. It's about that consistent, putting a good habit in with your food, putting a good habit in with your movement, something that you can do every single day, or at least 6 days out of every 7, So don't go over the top. The biggest mistake I see is people go, oh my God, I've put on this weight, I've got all this weight to lose, so I'm just going to go to the gym every single day and I'm going to cut out everything and I'm going to go on this extreme, So it's about putting things in at this point, good habits in, replenish, retrain, go for consistency, or go for that first one, replenish, get your body moving, which it loves, which nourishes it, hydrates it, strengthens it, give your body some good foods, like add them in so that you're going to get some more nutrients. That word consistency is important. Like, again, we're looking at, even myself, I've never been very overweight, but I have definitely been a very different shape to what I am now. Many times through children, but also before I discovered this world, it wasn't an overnight fix to get my body healthy again and to get it lean. It was definitely years of effort. And now it's very easy to maintain, because almost not because of what I'm doing, because of the habits. Like, I am an active person. I have a movement culture for my lifestyle. Like, I do know what foods make me feel good. And that's from years and years of slowly shifting my habits. So the word consistency, like, what is consistent for you? Write one thing in the exercise column, write one thing in the food column. Make the food column not like I'm going to cut this many calories. Let's make it about, what am I going to put in? Like, can I eat a bit of protein at every meal, or can I have 2 more serves of veggies a day? So choose a replenish goal for consistency on your food, and choose one little retraining goal for your body that you can do consistently, and make it about you, not about everyone else.
That's amazing advice. Thank you so much, Libby. I hope that's helpful
Tiff.
for everyone. I love that. Don't cut out, don't stress out, replenish, retrain.
Yeah, that's the focus for today.
Thank you, Libby.
Thank you.
I just love that. Replenish and retrain. Libby is full of fantastic advice, and I'm having her come back soon to the podcast to talk about tips and tricks that don't work. So if you want to be around for that, make sure you subscribe to Bounce Forward. Now, weight loss isn't magic, but it is science. And if you focus on creating a consistent deficit, you will see those results. Replenish and retrain. That's what I'm taking away from this. I love hearing from you, so please connect with me on Instagram at tiffhall_xo. And if you love this episode, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. I'd really appreciate that. Happy days.